Hi guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So, we are loading in for a battle from No Cookies For You, who is going to get some very early damage in a second, I think, against these citizen cavalry, who seem to be wanting to try and have a bit of an early dash across the river. I say he was. Yeah, there we go, he's noticed them. Big, bad damaging volley there against, obviously those tier 4s, against tier 6 slingers is a pretty brutal, brutal battle there to be having. So yeah, we are loading in this replay with the tier 6 Levy Slingers. Never actually played these guys myself. Really not dabbled in slingers very much at all, to be honest. I'm much more of an archer over slinger guy. But I am planning on cutting across from the tier 8 good archers to get the Helliot Slingers, the tier 8 ones. So it'll be interesting to give them a go when I finally get my hands on them. So yes, a replay was submitted a couple of days ago. So yeah, I thought I wanted to check it out. I've had a watch through this one and it was quite nice. A few mistakes in places, but yeah, thought it was well worth looking at for our battle of the week. So yeah, he's pushing across the river, advancing pretty hard really, considering he's only really got these one unit of pikemen here for defence. Quite a lot of range stuff on his team, to be honest. Got some javelins, enemy light artillery, unit of archers there. What else has he got? He's got some more enemies pushing across here. He is top tier in this game, which is nice. Getting a bit more damage on this Greek cavalry. Oh god, it's so brutal. Oh, those guys are almost entirely defeated just from a couple of volleys. I think he's trying to get a few clips into the back of these Macedonian spearmen. Oh, they must be running with Kanane. Okay, interesting choice for a spear unit. Most people, if they're going to run Kanane, run them with pikemen. But that should make them pretty vulnerable to missile fire because they actually have no missile block chance raising modifiers at all. They don't have anything to help them. So yeah, it's going to work pretty well in his favour, I think. Is the pikeman going to get the spears down? They do indeed. Okay, now these guys really are absolutely doomed. I'll be conscious about still firing here, although he's not really causing much friendly fire. Yeah, I think switching target at that point was a good choice. Ooh, particularly with dogs inbound. Although these guys, dogs should take quite a lot of damage on this lovely just sort of open run he's got on them. Is he going to then pull back? He needs to think about pulling back if he's going to want to get out of this one, because those dogs aren't slow. And obviously he's running with Miltiades, which is really the preferred choice for slingers. Yeah, those dogs are actually in range to select attack on anyone. Pretty poor deployment by that dog handler wherever he is. That must have gained him a lot of points, yes, which it absolutely has. Oh, he's even getting some shots on those Romans. Goes to show actually that slingers can still do a really impressive amount of damage even against heavily armoured units. I know these guys are one tier lower, but it's not that different. I don't know what the weapon damage is on these guys. 135. Okay, not super impressive, but if you're going to get rear shots on people, then it goes to show you can still rack up quite a good amount of damage. Because obviously there's really low missile weapon penetration, only 10, which is sort of roughly about sort of 2/3 less than, or half less than what equivalent archers may have, so their damage potential in terms of shooting units frontally isn't really that high, particularly when they're armoured units like Romans and stuff. So a couple of dogs make it through. Are they just going to get killed by those other archers? Oh, and he's getting shots into the dog handlers themselves now. Yeah, you can see frontally is just doing volleys of 10 mostly there, because they're mostly just bouncing on penetration. Oh, watch the friendly fire. That is the biggest risk, I think, with slingers is shooting. The fact they have no arc at all. All their shots have got a really flat trajectory. So of course that means that if you try and shoot at enemies like these guys here, when you're in front of allies in this sort of situation, then you really got to be careful because it's so easy to cause really high amounts of friendly fire. Don't do that. Like that. You see, he's caused probably more friendly fire to his ally than he did to the enemy units there, because they're really lacking those arc slingers, and that's the danger. A little bit better now as these enemies have sort of swapped sides, opening up a bit more of an opportunity for him to get some volley fire on. Although he's going to get caught up by these Boudica war dogs if he's not careful. Needs to keep moving. Looks like this battle is so far in his team's favour. Yeah, looking pretty positive, pretty strong lead there. And in this sort of case, he's doing the right thing, splitting his units in front of these Romans who are chasing him. Obviously, these Romans can't chase, well, effectively these 4 units, so it gives him quite a few options in terms of what he wants to do. So you've got to watch out for their heavy infantry charge. See, these Romans now turning their backs onto him, and I'm sure you'll know, Testudo works from the front and both sides, but it does not work from the back. It's effectively redundant because missile shields don't add missile block chance if you're being shot at from the back. And you can see the amount of damage they racked up with these slingers. Actually, really pretty brutally effective. And their long range means they can continue to apply that damage over such a good range. Really, basically completely eliminated that unit. And the low arc in this sort of situation is perfect because it means it's really accurate, really damaging fire. Oh, he just got caught with one of his units though, and his commander unit by those enemy war dogs. Gonna want to get out of there. Oh, have they slammed him? They haven't. Have they got slammed? They have. He's going to have a hard time getting out of this. I think this unit is probably doomed. It's going to rout. And he's probably going to take enough losses to go into the wavering state. Although he is now getting his other units in range to get damaging on these war dogs as they're chasing. Unbelievably, Miltiades actually escaped. Which is really handy for him because it means his commander... Oh no, there was Miltiades! He just shot his own Miltiades! Oh no. Yeah, there he is. There's Miltiades. Okay, well that means he's lost access to his fear ability, which is not necessarily ideal. Still being chased by these couple of war dogs. Well, we can probably turn this unit around and actually just get enough volley damage on them to kill them off. He says, maybe. Maybe not. Oh dear, terrible shooting there is going to get caught again. Well, I suspect that's going to be the end of that unit. He's got a couple of units left alive, and unbelievably, this battle is actually really now turning against his team. Are they actually going to end up losing this? He's looking for his opportunities. He might have, if I was him, I'd have probably took a shot at this unit as it rounded that corner. Because even though they were in Testudo, they did have their back to him. I think he would have got some decent damage in there. It's obviously a bit of decision making going on at this point. Can't quite decide what he wants to do. Quite a bit of stuff pushing back towards his base though. You know, he is getting some cap points here. Is he going to cap out in time? He's going to be pressured by these Romans as well, you see. Just going to make things pretty difficult for him. Yeah, in the end, I think he's decided that it's probably not worth him trying to stay on the cap circle. Double Romans there. I would have thought they'd probably still have one of them between them. They might have a peeler left. Unlikely to be able to cap out, particularly given that his base is under such a amount of threat as well. I think he's really wanted to be trying to get back to try and apply damage and defend his base a bit more. Some more friendly archers over here. Not really a lot left in terms of any melee infantry, really. I think that was his last one. These couple of Principes are down there. Got some allied cavalry still over here. Oh, and a legionaries there, but it's not really a lot, not particularly given how quickly his base is actually being capped out at the moment. It's obviously one of the nice things about Slingers is just their such colossal range. It does make it kind of easy to cap out because, you know, he's a long way away from his base, yet he still gets almost access to all the enemy units that are in his base to get shots in on them. So, what is he going to do? He's trying to keep up damage against these Principes. They are in Testudo though, so he's not really going to be able to get much damage through them. He's got to watch out for these Falksmen as well. Go for the Falksmen. Oh, brutal. Is that first in Ketrix? No, it's just a unit. Gonna get caught by him. Oh god, now he's got the wild wolves. I don't know why. Well, this is actually a really good reason why it would be super useful to have Miltiades left alive now, because to be able to fear an enemy unit at this moment would just be insanely helpful. Assuming fear is available to these slingers. Of course, I don't actually know if it is. Interesting point. He gets access to break ranks. I would assume fear is an ability open to any unit. He's now kind of in a bit of a tough position because he's going to get these armoured legionaries pushing into him, and his flank's kind of open. I assume these guys have got a heavy infantry charge, which I'm surprised they haven't used yet. Catching a few of them, and he's got to kind of keep this decap going as well because he's got quite a few of these enemy elephants in his base capping, and they're going to rack up cap points pretty quickly. So he's keeping his break ranks on to try and give him a good amount of speed. He's also running out about 5. It's a pretty good base speed, particularly considering he has a heavy infantry charge as well. Trying to deter these Romans slightly, but realistically, you know, the amount of damage he's actually getting in on these guys frontally is just very small. You look at 1100 damage. When a unit's still got over 10,000, 11,000 hit points, you know, you're a pretty long way off really going to be able to kill them shooting them frontally. I don't think that's really going to work out. Obviously, this battle is going significantly against him now. He has put up a pretty resilient fight, getting quite a lot of aggression damage picked up with these guys. You know, he can probably get some more decaps on these enemy elephants over here, which he is going to do. Good job. But the problem is he's still threatened by these guys here, and I'm not sure if he's noticed these Falksmen rounding the corner here. He needs to be pulling back this way and fast. otherwise he's going to get himself in trouble. And that is not the way to go. No! You're going to get caught by those faxmen. Oh dear. I think that pretty much spells the end of that. I don't think there was a lot Cookies was going to be able to do to get out of this one here. This is a really quite a tough situation, particularly the amount of enemies he's got. And with him now not really being able to take opportunity of rear flanks or anything like that, because you know, he's one of the few people left alive. The enemies can really focus against him. But I mean, if he really wanted to keep going, one thing would have been to pull back this way rather than going that way. You know, he could have been, at least in the short term, being able to escape those Roman infantry. And the Falcons were actually... No, they're... Arminius Falcons would have never been able to outrun them. They'd have easily outpaced him. So I think he was ultimately doomed. But still, pulling them out there back that way would have been a better move. So it looks like there's just a couple of allied cavalry left alive, trying to keep things going. I think they're the only unit left alive on the team, apart from a couple of units. Some of these guys down here, but I don't think they're going to be able to do a lot. And it looks like his base is going to be getting capped out very shortly, to spell an unfortunate defeat for his team. Particularly, actually, in the middle of this game, it really looked like he was going to be winning. So there's a bit of an unfortunate defeat there by the end. So hopefully you enjoyed that replay. Yeah, as I say, I've not really played Slingers much myself. I'm planning on hopping across when I get from these tier 8 Pontic Archers. I'm planning on hopping down to the Helot Slingers, which I think looked kind of interesting down at tier 8. Although, having said all that, it could be kind of interesting to see the tier 7 variant, because obviously with where things are going with ranked mode is going to be coming in at tier 7. These guys may end up working pretty well for their sort of meta. There you go, plus 7 penetration damage onto a base penetration of 5. Getting a 12 base damage, not so bad. So anyway, thank you for watching this video, guys. Hopefully this sort of Battle of the Week has been vaguely interesting to you. I try and sort of mixing up unit types from the different replays we get selected, sort of relatively decent amounts so we get different types, and I thought that was kind of an enjoyable one, where particularly as I really thought he was going to win when he was halfway through that battle and his team was sort of well over 100 points in the lead, but alas, not to be. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War Arena content, and I shall see you all on the next video.